It is April 2nd, and spring is finally here, but it is still freezing outside. But we had fantastic weather. I don't know about you, Ricky, in Chicago, but we had fantastic weather here the last couple of days. But I don't want to be a weatherman, a forecaster, or anything like that because I don't want to get things wrong. I want to be right in our discussions today, give you my honest, humble opinion about the hobby as we know it over the last couple of weeks. But before we dive into anything, the abundance of conversations that Ricky and I are going to be talking about today, which I think are all exceptionally great in their own way. But Ricky, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I am good. Baseball season has started. The Red Sox know that yet, but
Suck.
it's that time of the year. It's the best time of the year. Red
Yep.
Sox are 1-5 so far. So hopefully, we start turning that around.
Yeah. Usually this time of year, you get a lot of excitingness. Baseball starting, the draft's coming up, basketball playoffs going to be coming up. March Madness, is going to be concluding very shortly in April, which I think is
Shout out
stupid.
Huskies.
Oh, that game was insane. I was watching that at a bar with a friend, and I was like, yeah, they're not coming back. They were down by like, what, 17, 18, 19 or whatever. I'm like, yeah.
The largest episode was 19.
And it just shows you how long a game is. And, if you just go by possession, you just chip away, stop, score. It really shows you what you can do no matter who you're playing against, because Duke being a tremendous favorite to win the whole thing. And, of course, there was some luck along the way, some fun bounces that went your way. But holy crap, what a game. What a
Craziest
shot.
ending I've ever seen.
What a shot. Oh, my God. But yeah, no, that was exciting. Whether it was local or not, obviously UConn being very local here. It could have been, Northwest Washington State Technical Agricultural Institution, and it would have been insane. So no, that was exciting. But that's what March is all about, really. Well, March Madness is those crazy shots that happen. But yeah, they're moving on. And I think I might have talked to you about this last time. The whole thing with Jordan's furniture. Did you hear about that?
Oh yeah.
So my back in 07, my uncle 07, my uncle did it with the furniture, and it was for the Red Sox to win the World Series, which they ended up doing. So we got furniture for free. So I don't know, maybe UConn.
Yeah, they're ballsy for doing that. Knowing how good. I mean, the UConn women, they haven't made it yet, but that's almost a given. They're so good.
It's just like, I don't know. You do it thinking like, hey, what are the chances that both of them get there? I don't know. I mean, if any school is going to have both the men and the women, it would be UConn by a mile.
It's already been 2 years this century that both of them won it.
I know. I don't know. Maybe crazy. Business is good for Jordan's furniture, and he doesn't mind. Hey, you know what? If I lose this bet, I lose this bet. Exactly. All right. Where do we want to start off this morning, Ricky? Because we have an abundance of topics, whether it's about grading, whether it's about card sales, selling cards. Where do we want to start? Cleaning cards, Pokemon cards.
You tell me.
All right. I think this one I might actually have to pull it up. So actually, I'll wait for that first. I want to talk about this just because I have it up, and then I can get rid of it and bring up the other topic that I also want to talk about. And we both sat here, talked about $1 million sales. What was it? $100,000 sales, $10,000 sales. Here's a post mentioning so far in 2026, and this is from 3 days ago, so the end of March, 113 different card sales have been over $250,000, $250,000. Here is the breakdown, Ricky. 44 basketball cards, 39 baseball cards, 23 Pokemon cards, 6 football, and 1 soccer card. Anything stand out to you? And there's a breakdown in the comments, which I want to kind of get into in a little bit, but anything really pokes your interest here?
The first thing is only 6 football. That kind of surprises me.
I agree completely, especially in a hobby that is so infatuated with football cards. you would have thought that football would have had maybe 39 and baseball only had the 6.
Right.
But then, of course, you got to peel the onion back and like, all right, well, baseball has a ton of vintage cars. There's so much value there, yada, yada, yada. I get all that.
I feel like a lot of it with the baseball too is like the logo men and the now like sorry, the chases that they produce, like with the gold logo men and the
I haven't looked at the breakdown yet, but when we do, I just have a feeling that we're going to be surprised by something. Again, I haven't looked at it. I swear to God, but I just feel like there's going to be like if basketball and baseball is doing that, why can't football do that? But let's not take away the fact that, hey, Pokemon's thriving in its own way. And sure, it has its own vintage cards. We just talked about a card that sold for $16.5 million. So, I mean, Pokemon, which we'll also talk about a little bit more in depth later in this episode, is in its own world. It's in its own bubble right now, but it is still contending with baseball ahead of football. Now, we've talked about how Pokemon is such a great investment in terms of the sealed products, of course. If you grab some alt arts or SARs from a couple years ago, they'll appreciate over time. So, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. But Pokemon doing far better than football. Now, if you want to say, hey, Pokemon has a couple of more sales than football, fine. But it is not even close. Right. That Pokemon is just exponentially doing better than football. And I think that is very surprising. And of course, baseball and basketball too. All right. I'm just trying to close up my calculator here. I don't need my calculator. Okay, here we go. So here are the basketball ones. We have 18 Jordan cards. We have a LeBron and Jordan, a LeBron, Jordan, Kobe. We have a Kobe Contenders set, a Kobe Eminence set, LeBron card, LeBron and Tiger. Can we count that as a golf card too? If we're gonna count as a basketball, let's see, a Curry card, Bird, Magic, and Dr. J, and then we got some modern cards here. Of course, LeBron and Curry are modern players, but we got 2 Jokic, we got 2 SGAs, 2 Wembys, Dennis Rodman, a Luka, Anthony Edwards, Cooper Flag, Con Knipple, Meekin. I don't know who that is. Is that Marinainen? I don't know how to say his name, but I think that's who that is. Bill Russell. And then we got a complete set of Kabooms featuring Kobe, Curry, LeBron. So just one thing about the basketball, and then I'll hand the floor over. It's not your vintage cards. Of course, there's, the Bird, the Magic, and the Dr. J, which is about as vintage as it's going to get here for basketball. But obviously, without knowing what specific cards, the latest we're looking at is like the mid 80s here. But there is a bunch of modern, and I'll call modern like post 2000 cards here, whether it's Curry or LeBron or Jokic being a rookie a dozen years ago. But then you got, again, all these ultra modern rookies, whether it's Luka or Edwards or Con or Flag, SGA even. So it's a mixed bag of new school and old school cards, and I think that just shows the health in the basketball market. What are your thoughts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jordan definitely carries us, though. How many? 18 solo, and 18, not including the 20.
So he's close to half. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very Jordan-driven market.
Would you say that's a good thing? Would it be better if we saw the diversity among, say, it was just kind of all equal out between everything that's here, or maybe basketball having that one guy, obviously being Jordan, but then after that, it is kind of spread out nice and even between everybody else, really, or everything else. Because like Jordan's like the mantle for basketball cards.
I like it in the sense that it's someone that's proven.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And it's it's a winner who's established, who has a legacy and all that, and it's not some random, first year rookie who just came up.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it like that. So in that sense, it's good, but I don't know. I guess it sets a standard, I guess.
I agree. I agree. I think it's a healthy mix of, like I said, old and new school. It's a healthy mix in a variety of players, different positions, big men, guards. So I mean, especially where football is so quarterback driven. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we're looking at point guards, we're looking at shooting guards. I mean, we're looking at all five positions really. And nowadays, when you look at the card market, like there's sure if you score a bunch of points that helps, but like you can get a bunch of points from any of the positions on the court. Whereas again with football, it's just quarterbacks. And I'm curious to see what six football cards we're going to be talking about. But I just is basketball maybe the healthiest market right now? I mean, there's a lot of volatility with some of the rookies, the more ultra modern rookies like Khan and
Yeah,
Cooper.
the people who
Uh,
bought Bam Adebayo after his little performance are
yeah,
already getting burned.
yep. I mean, so there is some caution to be had. I mean, we're not going to see Bam Adebayo on this list. I mean, maybe we do, but if we did, we would have saw it after the 83-point game. Imagine that. Imagine this list being like just Bam Adebayo. Like, it's just been so. At least we can make an argument for all these guys just about of how. Except this again, I don't know who the Mika is. Is that Mika
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up.
Marinainen? I think.
No,
Whatever.
that's Laurie.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Anyways, while you look that up, I'm gonna jump over to baseball where we have 39 cards to talk about. A shorter list, but a more interesting list, I would say.
George Mekon.
Who?
George Mekon. Born 1924.
Is this maybe like an old school guy? George
Mr.
Mikan. George Mikan.
Mikan.
The Mikan drill for the layups underneath the hoop. I remember doing them. Oh, okay. Well, see, he was kind of. I mean, I guess Russell's down here, so I can't say he's muddled in with a bunch of ultra modern guys. But okay. All right, I feel embarrassed, but that's okay. So that's George Mikan. Okay,
It happens. It's early.
Layups. All right, baseball. This is a much more interesting list, I would say. Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Jackie Robinson, Hannes Wagner, Satchel Paige, Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, guys you would expect. I don't know who this Mike Kelly guy is, to be honest. Am I missing something? Shohei Ohtani, Rainbow Set, Ohtani and Judge, Jeter, Griffey, Buster Posey, Yoshinobu, Yamamoto, and Nick Kurtz.
Buster Posey.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing him. He had a superfractor one of one. It's like a BGS 9.5, I think that sold. I don't remember it selling for $250,000. I do remember it selling for a pretty penny, but apparently it was a bunch of pretty pennies. I mean, it's still a great catcher, one of the best ever, definitely of this generation. So, I mean, I don't want to downplay it a little bit, but I guess it just kind of helps the argument. Like, hey, you can grab your pitchers, you can grab your infielders, you can grab your catchers, even outfielders, but like
DHs,
even yeah. So, I mean, I guess with the baseball, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts, whether it's vintage, like true vintage, or true modern, because I believe this Ohtani and Judge is that dual one of one auto. Yeah. So whether it's new cars that they're just making or cars that they made over 70 plus years ago, it's selling, and it's selling for big bucks.
See, I wonder if not these cars specifically, but look with the basketball, baseball, and all that. I wonder if these are unique sales or if these are cars that have sold multiple times.
That's a good question. I guess we'll never really know because it doesn't.
But yeah, I mean, Ohtani being the most on this list is no surprise. His market is just absolutely insane right now.
So I'm just trying to do a little bit of a research right here on this Mike Kelly guy. I guess he's a guy he's in the Hall of Fame. He pitched in the late 1800s. So it's definitely an old school card, a true vintage, a pre-20th century. That's insane. I would love to have a card from the 1800s, Mike. It could be nobody for all I care. That'd just be really cool. But yeah, I mean, baseball with a variety of guys dating back to the 1800s all the way up to 2025, 26. I mean, it's just all over the place. And again, different positions. Like I feel like pitchers back then, like hobby card market or pitchers of yesteryear, they have a market, they have a strong market, but you look at pitchers today, obviously the game is tremendously different. You have pitchers going 4 or 5 innings, starting pitchers. So there's not a lot of meat on the bone to call them legendary guys like you can with Sandy Koufax and Nolan Ryan and Satchel Paige and whoever's on this list. I mean, the golden boy for pitchers over the last 20-something years, maybe in the hobby at least, Paul Skeens. I mean, his hype has even died down a little bit card-wise. Didn't help that he got shelled on opening day, but that's besides the point. I feel like moving forward, baseball is just going to be driven by hitters. We're seeing that with Ohtani. We're seeing that with Judge, Acuna when he's healthy, Soto when he's healthy. I was going to say Witt, but it seems like his market kind of dropped a little bit. Nick Kurtz even. So baseball is a little bit more refined than basketball, but still.
I want the A's to be good so bad.
The Athletics. Don't call me Oakland. Don't call me Sacramento. Don't call me Vegas. Athletic. All right. Pokemon now. Note, I only see 22 sales, not 23, as noted by original post. Ooh, all right. We have a missing post. Pikachu, 6. Pikachu lot, 7. Misty and Pikachu signed. So that's a little special card. That's only 1. Charizard, 8. Kangaskhan, 1. Sealed product, 3. And complete sets, 2. Pokemon for sure is all over the place. Whether it's hyped up Pokemon like Pikachu and Charizard, or even down to Kangaskhan and Misty for all, but that's science. That's a little bit different. But you can see that there's wax in this conversation here. People are selling wax for a tremendous amount of money. People are selling complete sets for a tremendous amount of money. But still, at least in 2026 so far, Pokemon is vastly outpacing football, although it is being led by Charizard and Pikachu. Okay, that's full. Oh, I kind of spoiled it a little bit. But yeah. So, I mean, not much to talk about here with Pokemon, but it's still closer to baseball.
What you'd expect. Pikachu, Charizard.
Yeah. Pikachu.
Random Kangaskhan card.
I know. That has to be like a first edition, like Black Label or something. I feel like that's the only way that could even sniff this conversation. But hey, it's here. I mean, just like Buster Posey is here for baseball, so it's there. And then for football, no surprise, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Bart Starr. Little vintage throwback. No Mahomes, no Jackson Darts, no Drake Mays, no Josh Allen's, no Lamar's.
I mean,
no.
I feel like that's kind of nice to see.
In what way?
Weird way.
Interesting.
Like that there's no over hype or over speculation that there's like unproven rookies or first year rookies are selling for stupid, ungodly amounts.
I wonder how different this list would have looked like if it was down to like 25,000 or 10,000, because there's going to be a ton of football cards that sold for that point. But to your point, it is good to see that, especially because 2026 would encompass most of the playoffs for football, obviously the Super Bowl, and maybe you would have thought that a Drake May card would have slipped through. Maybe you would have thought who's the other team in the NFC title game? I can't even remember. It's the Seahawks. Oh, it was the Rams, right?
Yeah,
I think it was the Rams. Maybe a Stafford card sneaks through, or again, the hype of Jackson Dart sneaks through. But there is none of that. Of course, Mahomes, obviously. But I mean, a big Mahomes sale could happen at any time, really. So I agree with you. It's legends, really. Brady, Peyton Manning, and Bart Starr. But to what I was saying earlier before what's that?
Is that Walter Payton? Because those are last names.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I feel like if it was Peyton Manning, they probably. Well, first of all, that's P.E. Ricky, catching me again. Messing up. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. Walter Payton. Thank you. The point, I guess, still stands. Legends.
No, but
I'm glad you pointed that out, because if you didn't, I would have been thinking here, wow, Peyton Manning has a $250,000 card.
But that's even crazier that Walter Payton might have one, though.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Yeah, no, that kind of just solidifies the conversation started with baseball here with like all these vintage and legendary guys. Bart Starr, Hall of Fame quarterback. Walter Payton, Hall of Fame running back. Tom Brady will be Hall of Fame quarterback. Here's soccer too. I just kind of spoiled it, but that's not surprising. And then, of course, you look at baseball with all these, retired Hall of Fame legends up here. And in this conversation here for football, we are not seeing any ultra modern or just modern guys to begin with. And I'll beat the horse dead with this quote because I love not a quote. It's not a quote. Sorry. This little fact. Is it a fact? I don't know. I like to pick on Justin Herbert, and I've said this 1,000 times because he has a $1 million sale. Nothing against him. He has $1 million sale, and Joe Montana doesn't. But if Justin Herbert has half the career that Joe Montana has, people are going to call Justin Herbert one of the best ever, maybe a top 10 quarterback of all time. He's going to have multiple MVPs, multiple Super Bowls, and he still won't be on that pedestal that Joe Montana was at. Now, why? When Joe Montana had Joe Montana's career, and we're just having a hypothetical, what if Herbert has half? Well, sure, Justin Herbert has flashy one-of-ones, RPAs, logo man, shields, and Joe Montana doesn't. I get that. But Joe Montana does have autos. He does have patches. He does have numbered cards. He does have case hits. And still nobody cares. But just based off of this, we're looking at the basketball, looking at baseball, looking at Pokemon even with, because I know there's some vintage stuff in this little lot here. It seems to be, Ricky, that the vintage stuff is selling for the most. Just in a vacuum, in a complete vacuum, it is selling for the most. Or at least the older stuff is selling for the most, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, the vintage market is always going to be there.
And I guess you can quick flip the new stuff a lot easier, but that's what people want. They want to quick flip it.
There's really nothing more that can drive vintage markets besides, unfortunately, death. But that's the appeal of vintage. It's just stable. It'll go up a little bit, and it won't really drop down. Mm-hmm. That's always the safer bet.
That I agree with. They are safe bets. Yeah.
And the nostalgia market really drives it too.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, these new guys are a flash in the pan, most of them. Whereas, again, let's just use Sam Darnold for an instance. All the hype in the world getting drafted seemed to be a bust. He was a bust for years, and then he wins a Super Bowl, and nobody's talking about it. Kind of unfortunate because that's what helps players market is those huge accomplishments. I mean, I mentioned this 1,000 times. When Mahomes won his second Super Bowl, his market exploded. But when he won his third, it did nothing. When Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl, his market exploded. Actually, it exploded even in the Super Bowl that he lost because he played better than Mahomes in that game. So, I mean, there's really no clear-cut, predictable algorithm here, with the exception of supply and demand. I feel like would probably be the best indicator. I mean, how many of these Walter Payton rookies are you going in probably whatever grade that was, are you going to see hit the market? Probably not that many. So I feel like this was a fun way to start today's episode, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's pivot to Pokemon since I have them both up here. Now,
your favorite topic.
It is, but I want to focus more on something else other than just PSA versus Beckett or Black Label versus PSA 10. I want to focus on something more, and that's going to be the Pop Report. And it kind of goes off of what I was saying with supply and demand from wrapping up our previous conversation. But look at the difference in the Pop Report. Black Label's 23, a PSA 10 is 12,500. Call it. Just in a vacuum, what would you want? The Pop 23 or the Pop 12,500? Obviously, you're going to pick the 23. Now, of course, there is a conversation to be had about the difference in sales because there is the perception that PSA does offer the most resale value. And for a lot of things, Ricky, yes, that is true for a lot of things. But when it comes to certain cards, whether it is Black Labels, pristine 10s, or whatever it may be, it's a conversation we had because we're not just talking about a couple of dollars or a couple of $1,000. Like if the Black Label was like, say, $3,500, this conversation would be far less interesting because it could just be the day and time. It could just be, maybe the black label just hit the market and people want the card, or hasn't hit the market in a little bit, whatever the conversation or whatever the reason is. But Ricky, we are talking about almost $50,000 more. We're not talking about pennies here or dollars. We're talking about almost $50,000 more. There has to be something to be said about black labels yielding close to $50,000 more than a PSA 10, regardless of what the circumstances. Now, could it be the black label, just black label? Could it be the pop? Could it be the fact that this 2600 one only had 26 bids while the black label had 51 bids? That to me shows that people want the black label more and they're willing to pay for it more.
Mm-hmm.
My rant's over. I would like to hear your thoughts.
No, I mean, that is basically 21 times the price of a PSA 10. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That seems like a lot for black label. I'm not gonna lie.
That I would agree with.
That seems pretty high. But I mean,
So,
hey, Pop 23, and it's an auction, so if that's what people want to pay for it, that's what they can't be mad at it.
Now, could there be a conversation had that PSA is, the mark of the brand to flip cards? Maybe someone's buying this at 2,600 to flip it, whereas the person buying it at $54,000 is buying it for their collection. I mean, there's a conversation to be had there. I
think that's always been the selling point for PSA, that it's easier to flip and easier to move. Not necessarily, well, I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone, but not necessarily that it's better than everyone else, but it's easier to move. Because, if you're a flipper, which one are you going to buy, the PSA 10 or the BGS 10?
The hobby tells you the PSA 10.
Right. So, I don't know.
I think you're onto something because just look at the price points. It's going to be a lot easier to buy and then sell a $2,600 card than it is going to be for a $54,000 card. And the person buying the $54,000 card probably into it long term, expecting long term, maybe just forever, honestly. And the pop report for the black label, it's not going to be 23 forever, but it's also not going to be 12,500 anytime soon. So the black label is definitely going to hold its value much longer at that price point than the PSA 10 will at that price point, because that 12,500, I mean, we look at that pop report in a month from now, it's probably going to be close to 20, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, who knows. But the point is, there's always going to be more PSA 9s and PSA 10s that are going to hit market, watering down the supply, which you would think lowers the demand or lowers the price at the very least. But then we look at the Van Gogh Pikachu, and that has a pop of 60,000 in a PSA 10 just about, or at least a PSA 9. So, I mean, it's the pop report is an interesting conversation to have as well. But to your point, I do agree with you that just PSAs in general are easier to move because it apparently is the name brand. I think for me, the conversation with PSA having the most resale value, again, holds true for a lot, but not for everything. But people don't want to have that but or and kind of conversation. They just kind of want to wrap it up at that, because that's all they know, unless they do extensive research. Look at this. BGS belongs to PSA. Food for thought. Not exactly, but I see your point.
I was looking at that comment. That guy's an idiot.
In that case, why not buy PSA 10 and send them to Beckett, since PSA owns Beckett? I don't think it's that easy.
These people
enjoy the 9.5s you're likely going to get. Okay, so this is a good little tidbit here. PSA is the leader for a reason. Black labels aren't consistent. Now, when I hear consistent, I'm thinking of, if I send that card in, say 10 times, chances of me getting a black label are probably 1%. But if I send that card 10 times to PSA, I'm probably going to get a PSA 10 much more often than not. Enjoy the 9.5s you're likely to get. Okay, so again, PSA does have a lot of resale value because 10s, they're the best. the name. And sure, 9.5s aren't going to nearly have as much value as a Black Label or Beckett 10 or even a PSA 10, or maybe some 9.5s. But that's not the conversation we're having here. We're talking about the Black Label, though. And if the card looks good enough, it should be sent to Beckett. Seems like an inside job. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to briefly touch upon that. Here's a little fun one right here. Sealed Grails. Imagine that. $10,000 for a booster box, Ricky. Holy crap. All right.
I still want the Lovebird so bad.
I do too. All right. We'll put a pause on Pokemon. We'll come back because we're going to talk about the new set that just came out. But let's see. I want to talk about this because I still have it up. So I was able to get it up. So card cleaning, I think, is a very controversial topic in this hobby. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't you tried the juice and all that stuff before?
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times. I haven't done it in a while, but
did you find that it worked?
Kind of. I didn't get like too good at it, but it got a couple blemishes out.
So, I guess when it comes to clean, I love this. I sent it to you. A report card, card. Like we're in school, Ricky. Like that is just insane. Not even for the raw grade reviews, I have a report card. I just give you a projected grade on the damn thing. Okay, two things. One, it's a shame that these cards aren't coming out clean. Obviously, that's the manufacturer's problem. Now, sometimes if the box gets dinged along the way, okay, I get that. Sometimes there's quality checks that just aren't checked. So manufacturer's problem sometimes. But like, I think this is more of a conversation for vintage cards than it is for ultra modern cards like this. Like, I think cards shouldn't be cleaned like this because I don't know. I mean, girls put makeup on, guys, trim their beard. I mean, so it's like you're dressing up in a way, in real life too. Not that there's a correlation, but like, I don't know, it feels like you're getting not what the card is supposed to be if it's getting cleaned up, so to speak. I don't really know where else to go with this.
I don't mind a card being cleaned. I don't understand why it's considered, altered or, ungradable if PSA catches a card being clean. Because why isn't it altered if there's, some whitening or dings on the card?
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't it altered if a card gets damaged? Is it only altered if a card gets repaired or cleaned? I don't get it.
I mean, I guess what's the difference between, buffing out your car, right? Or, trying to get a scratch off your car. I mean, when you go trade into the dealership, they're not going to look to see if there's any wax on the car. They're probably going to want it to have some wax and want it to be buffed out, if anything. I don't know. I think for me, it's more of a boomer's mentality of the card is the card and it shouldn't be altered in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, I'm not calling that this is being altered, but, some would say that this is altering the card.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't even think this is altering the card.
So, like, I don't agree with that philosophy. I know with a lot of the older guys and the boomers and the vintage guys, like, the card should be the card the way that it is, and cleaning it to this degree or polishing it to this degree is a form of removing it from its original state or its current state, I guess. And that process isn't what they like, because then it's not the card anymore. It's, I don't want to say fabricated because that's not the word, but I don't know. Altered is the best word I can think of. I know there's a better word. I'm pro cleaning, getting lint off of it, getting fingerprints off of it. I'm all for that because you're not putting any juice on it. You're not putting any spray on it. I know people will put in dehumidifiers and clamp the damn thing. And like, I don't know, I feel like if you have to go above and beyond and do all that stuff, I feel like it's a card that maybe you should avoid. But just something that I saw that I figured, because I know people do, clean, and PSA said that they're going to crack down, and you haven't heard of any crackdowns yet from PSA. Like, oh, we got the submission and we rejected it. No, because they still want your money.
Well, of course.
So, yeah. I don't know, just something quick that I wanted to talk about in regard to this. Really had no other rhyme or reason. Just if people out there do the juice, wax, clean cards, is it beneficial? Does it work? Does it not work? Does it ruin the cards? How do I don't really know the process in the ins and outs of it, but I am curious though, just to kind of get a better understanding of why and how. All right. So we talked about that. We talked about that. Talked about that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about buying and selling, Ricky. I think this is a very integral part of the hobby that we all know to some degree. And a friend of mine yesterday, was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, a couple days ago. He's like, Murph, how do I go up to somebody and ask them if they could like take a few bucks off? I'm like, that is a great, great question. Now, shop and show, different conversation. Shop, you have to worry about taxes because, most shops will charge you tax. Some shops won't, especially if you're paying in cash. But let's just presume that we're at a card show here. So we just take the tax conversation out of it. Now, I can give you some of my thoughts on it. I mean, I'm in a little different position, so I'll try to take the card shop part of it out of it too for me.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're walking around a show, Ricky, you look up some cards, some nice prices. Maybe they're on point, maybe they're a little higher. Is there any keywords or phrases or anything of the like to kind of, just in a vacuum, hey, can you come down on this price? But like, how do we go about that?
I mean, at the very least, very, very minimum, be a decent person and don't just go up to the table and say, hey, can you take this for that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go up to the dealer, hey, how you doing? How's it going? How's the show been for you? Blah, blah, blah. Start a conversation. And then when you get to talk to me, like, hey, there's some dealers who kind of hate when you talk about comps.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to, I don't know, kind of get a feel for how they deal. But, I mean, yeah, worst case, at the end, just shoot your offer. Worst case they could say is no, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree with you.
Just don't be pushy. Don't be like, oh, well, it did this. You have to sell me for this. Or I just hate when people are like, how am I supposed to make money if I don't buy for this? Blah, blah. But,
so there's more keywords or phrases to not say than there are to say.
I think so.
I completely agree with you. Because the whole last comp sure could be a possible conversation. I just priced the card on Thursday though, and we're at a show on Saturday. I didn't see that Friday sale. How the hell was I supposed to see that Friday sale? Because I didn't price it Friday. So like, I hate the last comp thing too. Like, hey, I'm looking at recent comps. Maybe mention, hey, the last few have done this. There's definitely a much more approachable way to do it than, hey, can I offer you 70%? Or like, hey, I'm a whatnot seller, so I buy at 70%. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you buy at. No, decent human being is definitely a big time one. Some key phrases to avoid. Sure, I don't care what you do with the card. Now, if you have a shop or if you are a vendor, I mean, that's a conversation we can have, but that shouldn't be like an automatic discount type of thing. Let's see what else. I definitely do think that there's more things to not say than there are to say, because it should be common sense to be nice. Hey, how's the show going for you? Did you pick up anything cool? Can I take can I take a look at these cards? Do you mind if I take them out of the sleeve? Do you mind if I look them up? So
are you taking offers? Ask them if you're taking offers.
Exactly. And if they're saying no, then okay. That's actually a pleasant way to get rejected. Hey, are you taking offers on this card? I see you have it tagged for $300. Are you taking offers on it? $100. Are you taking offers on it? But like, I think it's so rude when people, and I guess maybe this is just the mannerisms and the professionalism in me. They don't even look at me. They don't even acknowledge me. They're just card laddering. They're alting. They're eBaying, whatever it is. Hey, let's say I have it tagged for 100. Hey, can you do 70 on that? Last one did 75, 80. No, like what purpose do I have as a vendor selling it to you for 70 when I don't even know you. I don't know your name. You know, you didn't ask how I was. It's what this hobby has really done really well for a lot of kids and adults even is make them more sociable, make them
Right.
more conversational. I mean, countless times I talk to mothers and fathers of how their little 9-year-old or their 12-year-old, you know, talking to friends more or out and about more, or they're always busy on the weekends, you know, going to shows and such. And they're not inside playing video games or they're not inside doing nothing. So, I mean, it's definitely has been a positive. But I mean, I love that. Are you taking offers on that? Hey, can I put can I put some cards together for a deal? There's definitely some ways to approach it. And if the vendor says no, Ricky, it is what it is. I mean, you don't have to get all butthurt about it.
Right. Some people act like you have to sell to them too. That's the thing.
Oh, I need
Like
room on it.
Some
I don't
people
care.
feel entitled to a sale for whatever godforsaken reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely especially when there's no like relationship. So like if I have a relationship with somebody or if we've done deals before or as a friend or I know you, I think the conversation becomes a little bit different. But again, I want to try to keep this in the scope of, hey, this is your third show you're going to. You don't know any of the vendors. Definitely just be nice, you know, look at a bunch of cards, spend some time at the table, even, you know, maybe even chime into a conversation that you're not even a part of. Like, oh, you looking at that? That's a nice card. Like, oh, did you just pick that up today? That's a nice card. You know, it's not that hard. But I do understand that some people may have social anxiety. Maybe they just have, you know, they're introverts and don't want to talk. So I totally get all that. But when it comes to time to make a deal and you haven't said a word,
Right.
don't be shocked.
All of a sudden.
I thought there was more to that. I was like waiting for the punchline, and I was like,
I love my train of thought mid sentence, but not.
All right, so go ahead, finish before you lose it again.
No, it's just it's seeing how some people operate card shows just kind of annoys me and turns me off. I haven't dealt in a while, actually, in a long time, but back when I did kind of get annoyed from people just coming up to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, last time I was behind the table was Fanatics Fest actually, so it hasn't been that long.
So, because you do a lot of online stuff now, Facebook, right? How are the conversations different online compared to in person at a show? Are they similar conversations just over Messenger, or are they completely different conversations?
Good question, actually. Online, you don't really. I mean, if I'm interested in the card online, I'll DM the person, "Hey, how's it going? I'm interested in this." I'll know if they're taking offers because they'll usually say it on the post.
Mm-hmm.
Would you take this for that? They'll be like, no, yes. I mean, it's not too different. It's definitely, it's more forward, I would say. It's less need for back and forth.
I feel like when it comes to the online, and you know, correct me if I'm wrong, there's no pleasantries. How you doing? You know, how's your day? How's obviously you're not at a show, so you can't ask that question.
Right.
You know, it's people are more brave behind a keyboard. So if they do get rejected, it's not the end of the world. All right, I'll just block you then. I don't want to deal with you, but block. So like you don't have to worry about the social anxiety part of it. You could just shoot your number, and if they take it, they take it. You're protected by PayPal, so I mean, there's no stress there. So a lot of people are more brave to offer 60, 70, 80% or whatever it may be compared to in person. And plus, when you're at a show, the vendor has the leverage being the vendor. Whereas if you're online, there's no vendor. So what's the difference between you selling or you buying? or what's the difference in position, I should say, outside of just one's a buyer, one's a seller, so to speak. Would you recommend somebody starting out? I guess obviously this wouldn't really apply to kids, but someone starting out to start online, or do you think starting in person is better? Because of course, with online, there are risks and there's vulnerability, of course.
I would say in terms of selling, if you're trying to build a name, I would start online, like through Instagram or Facebook. If you make a few sales through Facebook, I would tell people like, hey, thank you for the sale, thank you for the purchase. Like, if you have a card Instagram, follow me on here, I'll follow you back. Blah, blah, blah. That's how I gain some followers. And from there, we follow each other on Instagram. They post a story sale, I post a story sale, we do a couple of deals from there. So that's how I'm named. Yeah. So I think if you're trying to build a name, that's a good way online is a good way to start. Buying. There's a lot of people on Facebook groups that I've seen like multiple posts from that I know their names just because they make multiple posts from like multiple buying posts or selling posts.
Yep.
And that they must be doing pretty well because they're always buying and selling. So I guess people know to do deals with them because they're active members that you see a lot. So I guess that's a good way of building a name too. So
now because you mentioned selling, and that kind of leads into my next topic. I want to ask this question before I do. How important are vouchers online? You see people vouch it all the time. Is that really a deal breaker for people? If there's no vouchers or lack of?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's kind of tough because everyone starts somewhere. Mm-hmm. Everyone is someone's first sale.
Someone's always somebody's last sale too, if you think about it. Very morbid, but
I mean, at one point I had 0 vouchers.
Yep.
So, but yeah, vouchers are pretty important.
Is it more for for you selling your stuff? Are the vouchers more important for you as a seller, or are they more important looking at somebody else's vouchers as a buyer? If you had to pick one, what's more important? Obviously, one's yours, so you may have a little bias there. But which one would you say is more important?
I mean, I would say my vouchers as a seller are more important.
Kind of legitimize you.
Right. I mean, I haven't done it yet. I probably should do it soon. I've been saying I'm going to do it forever. I don't have one of those like legit posts on Instagram yet.
Oh, I see those all the time.
I probably should make one of those soon. But I don't really ask for vouchers as much anymore as I should, just because I pay with goods and services anyways. Mm-hmm. And I know that has limited protection now too, but I don't put notes, so they don't necessarily know it's for.
Yeah.
What it's for. So
I just have so many questions now. I promise we'll get to the next topic, but does goods and services having to pay that extra fee really alter or make or break a deal? Because sometimes it might be just a couple of bucks, but depending on what the dollar amount, it could be a lot more. It could even impact the margins that you're expecting. So does it actually have a factor?
Yeah, it that and shipping kind of cuts into it, because like if you're say card's $100, you want to buy it for 85% sure. Let's say you want to buy it for $85, but then with shipping being $6, and then goods and services being 3%, it's not that $85 card is now $94. So that you're paying 94%, but you don't want to pay 94%. Mm-hmm. But then the person selling it doesn't want to take 77% after shipping because they don't want to eat the shipping and fees.
Yep, of course not.
So
I think that's what
it's
really
kind of a
drew
middle
me
ground.
away. That's what
Yeah,
really turned me off, because I'd rather just have the cards here at the shop, wait for somebody to walk in, pay 100% more often than not. And of course, the cards will probably sit there longer than if I was to post them and advertise them. But for me, that becomes work to have to make posts and advertise and have these conversations that might end up going nowhere. Or maybe they do go somewhere, but then you got to discuss about this percent, that percent, goods and services, shipping, like you said. So no, there's definitely some more
but
hurdles, I would say, than in person for sure.
but
But it could
tying
be
everything together, that kind of emphasizes the importance of like having vouchers and building strong connections and relationships. Because then, if you do multiple deals with people, you don't have to do the goods and services. You could just do friends and family with someone you trust. Like I have a few people that I've done multiple deals with that I feel comfortable just selling.
blindly sending money in the ethos, hoping that you get the
Right.
cards.
Like I don't mind selling people, a couple
Yep.
people that I've done multiple deals with, because I know I'm going to get the cards.
So it takes time. It takes time to build that trust with other people. It takes time to build that rapport. It takes time to build credibility. Even, obviously, having the trust of somebody else, that takes time, and doing multiple deals, hoping to get a better deal. Even so, no, that's all good stuff here. And to tie it in to the next topic, since you mentioned selling cards, I know we kind of we went a little array there, but what I wrote down, how to properly sell your cards. Now, I don't want to sit here and say that there's a specific right reason to sell your cards, but when you're now we'll talk about a few different ways to sell them. But when you're selling as an attendee, you're walking around. I've seen this so many times. Are you buying? Are you buying? Are you buying? Are you buying? Is there a better way to approach that? Or is there a way to, because I've seen cards that are just like dollar cards all the time, or cards that I just don't want. So is there a better way to make your cards look better? Is there a better way to sell your cards? Trading, play a factor into it? Should you just take it online and go to eBay with it? Uh, what are your thoughts on selling cards?
Are you speaking like in general? Or are you speaking card shows or?
I guess start with card shows, because that was my original question, and then wherever your thoughts take you.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing sellers you should do is have price tags on your cards.
Yes, price them. Please price your cards.
I think that's the most important thing, because 9 times out of 10, when I go to a table and there's no prices on the cards, I just right by them.
Yep.
Unless I see a card that I really want. Just because
Go ahead, sir.
No, because then you got to ask, like, how much you want for this? How much you want for this? How much you want for that? How much you want for that?
Pain in the ass.
Like, I just don't understand as a dealer why you would want that for yourself.
Then you just got to constantly look it up.
It takes a lot less effort, to price it once than it is to tell someone the price every time they ask.
Oh, but I want to make sure I'm at market. And listen, I'm all for that. If I have a tag that's a little outdated, I'll double check to make sure it's market. But at least whatever I have is a starting point. If they're in the middle of pricing 100 cards and they're halfway through, that's one thing. But no, I agree with you. Whenever I see a vendor, I don't even care if the price is on the back. I don't want to have to ask. And if I have to ask, like as a vendor, if I'm buying and you're selling to me, you better have these numbers, or at least have a starting point of numbers. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I'm just taking offers. Oh, I'm just looking to see what I can get. Come on, have like a little bit of confidence in yourself. Have a little bit of knowledge of what you have, because you could get lowballed, you could get screwed, and you have no idea. Or if you're just looking to, unintentionally, I should add, Or maybe the vendor is trying to screw you. I don't know. Or if you are, oh crap, now I lost my train of thought. You want to just know what kind of value you have ultimately. And if you are a vendor and you have no tags, and if you don't make any sales, no one to blame but yourself. So that's all I wanted to interject with.
Oh yeah,
keep going.
That's another to go off topic for a little bit. I hate when vendors complain that they don't make sales, and then there's multiple reasons. It's one, they don't have price tags. Two, when they have price tags, they're double, triple comps, and there's no wiggle room. Like you set up at busy shows and you're complaining that you're not making sales, but everyone else is. There's got to be a reason.
Like, I don't know what's more aggravating is a vendor complaining that they didn't make any sales in a busy show, like you kind of referenced, or a vendor who says, "Oh, I made like 10 grand today." And it was a dead slow show. And I'm like, pal, 10 grand didn't even walk in the door. What are you talking about? Because of course, vendors will pump themselves up, and that's an unfortunacy as well. But crap, what else was I gonna say? Shoot, I don't remember. I'll carry on. I'll remember it if I can.
Yeah, I think I've complained about this before, but I remember back when I was in Massachusetts going to shows, seeing the same vendors with the same inventory, at the same shows with the same prices. It's like, come on, something's got to give. You know what you're doing wrong, but you're not budget.
There was a Matt Corral National Collegiate Immaculate or National Treasures patch auto to 25. This was maybe last year I saw this. And I swear to God, I thought it said $4,000. I swear to God. And I'm like, holy crap, this guy hasn't adjusted his tags in 4 years or 3 years or whatever, however long since Matt Corral was hyped up. Because maybe once upon a time that was a $4,000 card in like the hype of the market, the hype of the hobby. And I'm like, this guy just never adjusted his tags for the longest time. And he didn't even bother doing it. And it's been there show after show after show. And then one day I finally decided to look at it a little closer because I had to take a picture of it. And it was $40. It was like 40. And then I just didn't see the dot because it was just so faint. And I'm like, oh, that's less exciting. Because I thought it would have been really exciting, though, if it was actually $4,000. I mean, that's just such a better conversation. Like, Matt Corral hasn't played in 3 years. How will you have 4,000 on this tag? So that was, but no, vendors don't adjust their tags as frequently as they should. I agree with. Something does have to give, and I don't care what you're into it for. It doesn't matter. Right. But no, I think selling cards. Everyone's selling cards now, and there's so many platforms and means to sell cards. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the only real way to sell cards was to go to shops or to shows. And even then, a lot of vendors weren't buying cards. I mean, buying is really more of a recent phenomenon. Card shops were like the one real legitimate way to sell your cards, and you were going to get dirt cheap percentages. But that was the only offer you got. So you had to. Of course, eBay was around, but eBay wasn't the card selling powerhouse 15 years ago like it is today. I mean, you could look at whether it's any kind of niche market business hobby thing, and you look at 15 years ago and it just wasn't as insanely popular on eBay then as it is today. So, but now that, you can live stream, shop, shows, trade nights, eBay, alts, Fanatics. I mean, there's so many platforms to sell your cards now. But still, I find people uneducated about their own cards. It just blows my mind. Now, of course, if it's a kid, you gotta give them some slack. But it's the adults who are active in the hobby, not even the ones like, oh, I just found these cards from my childhood. No, it's the ones that are active, or at least passively active. I'm like, you just woke up one day and like, I'm gonna sell these cards, and you didn't even bother to be like, all right, look, I got 1,000 here. The lowest I'll take is this. Because I have this. Something. But no, people forget to do it all the time. All the time. And it frustrates me. What's like the one thing as a buyer, if we haven't already talked about it, that frustrates you when it comes to somebody selling cards?
I mean, besides the whole not having price tag thing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to be number one for pretty much everybody. I mean, if there's something that we haven't talked about, love to hear it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That could be our outgoing takes maybe in a little bit. Hopefully I'll remember the question. Here, I'm going to put it in our chat so I don't forget it. What's one thing that aggravates you when buying? Yeah, that's good enough. I can't spell aggravate. Oh, here we go. All right. We'll circle back to that. Maybe that'll be our outgoing takes is one thing, and I'll think about it too. You know, as we wrap up this episode with one more conversation, and that's circling back to Pokemon Perfect Order. Has been out for a week now. I guess it'll be a week tomorrow, or 2 weeks. Actually, I don't remember. When did it come out? It came out. I don't know. Whatever. It's been out for a week. Ricky, what about Perfect Order should we know? You're the one that brought it up in our chat. You thinking it's going to be this set's journey together? Kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't ripped anything yet, but it seems like the set where, flippers are struggling to sell it, but people who genuinely collect like because of the art,
mm-hmm.
and that's giving me, journey together vibes because the most expensive card from the set is the Lily's Clefairy for what, $130 or something like
that. Let's see. We have the gold Zygarde, the Meowth, the regular Zygarde, Rose's Encouragement. I like to call it Patrick Star.
Yeah.
The Clefable, Clefairy, and then we're kind of getting into the rest of it. But there's really no powerhouse card,
right,
that we've seen with other sets.
But that Meowth is pretty sick.
It is. I agree. I think a lot of the cards, if you just take the value out, look really good. The Meowth, the Zygarde, the Rose's Encouragement with little Pikachu right here, or the Pikachu ice cream. I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool. The Mega Starmie, kind of grown into a meme. So, I mean, there's definitely some cards here. I mean, here's the same Meowth here. The position is just about the same, right? Oh, no, a little different. But there's the Mega Starmie again. I just think that's so funny. So, no, I don't know how playable this set is because obviously I don't follow that. There's only one gold card compared to some of the other Mega Evolution sets having multiple. And I think this set is gaining popularity because it's available. Because a lot of other people, or your resellers specifically, are scalpers, are buying it and they don't know any better, so they're stuck with dead inventory, or they've smartened up and they're not buying it, leaving it available. I mean, $197, just call it $200 for the booster box. A week after, insane. I mean, Mega, Phantasmal, they were all $250 and up on release day, and then it fluctuated from there. But ETBs are hovering between. I had the ETB price, but I went.
This doesn't seem like the set that's gonna, take off, blast off anytime soon. I just feel this is the set that's gonna gradually appreciate.
I mean, even the Pokemon Center ETB is only 125, $35 after taxes. $75 to $80 for the regular ETB. So I mean, it is extremely affordable. And Ricky, I've said this a million times. Pokemon product just appreciates the best. There is no reason why somebody can't go out and get a bunch of boosters, bunch of ETBs, rip some if you want, or sit on some, because down the road, it's going to have value, just like with every other set. And I want to look up Journey Together too, since you mentioned it. Journey Together booster pack ETB. Okay, here we go. Let's see, booster box. Even the booster box, 270 and change, close to 290.
Question.
Yes. Oh, is this the? This isn't the enhanced though.
Why does the booster box go for more than the enhanced one?
Yes, that's true, because here's the enhanced right here for, well, if you 250 15, so that's 265. That's a really good question. I couldn't tell you. Maybe people don't like the card. I don't know. I think, oh, crap. I think it's a cool card. Oh, that's perfect order. I actually don't really, it's hard to say, because if you were to, I mean, maybe pack odds are better. Maybe people figured out that pack odds are better with just the regular booster box. Maybe because the Mega Evolution one is close to Mega Evolution booster. We'll just come here. I think I heard someone's door close outside. I don't know why. So the enhanced is call it 300. The non-enhanced is almost the same price, 290 after everything, over 300. So these are just like on par. I think for the Journey Together, I would probably just kind of peg it to either pack odds, which would make sense, but also doesn't at the same time. Supply and demand, maybe. Maybe people have enough of the promo, so they just want the damn box at that point. But if you're going to, might as well just get the promo anyways. It'll be worth something down the road. Anyways, to circling back to my original point of why I brought up Journey Together, how about Shrouded Fable? How about Twilight Masquerade, Stellar Crown, recent sets? I mean, I guess now they're old sets, really, that people necessarily didn't want. Now they're hard to find, let's say. Some of those sets do have banger cards. Some of them don't. I think Pokemon needed this set, perfect order. They needed a soft set. I'm not going to call it. This is the best word I can think of, a soft set. Reset the market a little bit or correct it a little bit. But with Chaos Rising coming out the end of May, I think we're getting another run of Ascended products coming out. How corrected will the market really be? I don't know. But a week after release day, we're seeing $200 boosters. We're seeing $75, $80 ETBs. That's, market price at the very least. I think that's very, very promising.
Yeah. Chaos Rising seems like an appropriate name.
What's that?
Chaos Rising seems like an appropriate name.
It does indeed, because there will be chaos, and it will be rising from the ashes from what Perfect Order left the hobby. Maybe Perfect Order maybe scared away some scalpers and resellers, maybe, or if they're smart enough, they would have stuck around and just waited.
That's going to be the Gengar set, right? Chaos Rising.
I have no idea. Let's see if any of it is out here. Chaos Rising booster box. Look at that. I have no idea. I know Greninja's in it because of Ninja Spinner is the Japanese one. It's already $275 a box. Start at $0. It's going up. 5 for 2. People are already pre-selling a set that doesn't come out for a month and a half. Unbelievable. That's like me putting a post out there saying, "Hey, take some pre-orders for it." Let's see. We have ETBs on here. ETBs for 140, Ricky. 135. But I mean, how many times have we seen these ETBs or booster boxes or whatever? They're all the way up here, and then they drop, and then they come back up, and then they level out. I mean, I don't know. I just think buying pre-sale products is just ridiculous. Yeah, see, we're already seeing a dip. Already seeing a dip. All right. Anything else we want to talk about in regards to Pokemon Perfect Order or anything?
No.
Did you happen to remember or come up with something that aggravates you when you're buying from people?
I would just say
I have one.
I think I think sellers who just refuse to adjust to modern selling times, I guess. I don't know how to word that properly, but
What do you mean by like
like,
getting off the Beckett?
yes.
Part of it.
Basically, I don't care what they sell for. My price is my price. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, it's your card, it's your price, absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be surprised and don't be mad when it doesn't sell.
You sound just like me. It's crazy. I say that. I say that all the time. I say that all the time.
Yeah, you have the right to ask what you want. Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to be asking that for the next 5 years.
And if you don't make a sale, or if you have a bad show and the card doesn't sell, or cards don't sell, nobody to blame but yourself. Nobody to blame but yourself. And of course, nobody wants to take a loss, Ricky. Nobody does, but sometimes you have to. As long as you're winning more than you're losing. But like, let's just say you have it tagged at 200, market's 150. All right, you take the 150 because someone's willing to give you market value for it. Now you're able to take that 150 and invest it into other cards that will hopefully sell quicker at better price points and more accurate price points, and keep the funnel flowing. I mean, sometimes that's just what you have to do. And unfortunately, people aren't willing to do that, but people should be. It's a tough pill to swallow. I bought it for 200. This is my bottom dollar. Like, okay, we get it. But I'm sorry. Sell it to me for 150.
Right.
My thing is, I guess it's similar to yours, but I'm gonna kind of spin it to a vendor's point of view. If I'm sitting down and someone brings me cards and they expect top dollar. Now, again, some people don't know, but this is also kind of aimed at the people. I Googled it, or I looked it up on eBay, not using sold, or they just, hey, I know it's $100 card. I want $100 for it. Like, that's just not how to do business. That's not realistic, at least with me. I know there's vendors out there with their big banners and something, not buying 95%, 100%. You go to them. But the majority of vendors won't give you 100%. And you may not get full value for it. You're not going to get full value for it. And I think when people come up to the table and they don't understand that or acknowledge that, I think that is kind of what aggravates me a little bit. Now, of course, there is a lack of education. Maybe it's their first show. Maybe they don't know any better. Of course, there's variables there to be considered. But just in a vacuum, let's just say it's not their first show. Let's just say, they know a thing or two about, last sold items on eBay. Let's say, they're a vendor themselves even. But yeah, top dollar annoys the crap out of me. Now, if that's what you want to claim market to be, hey, market on this is 100, but this is where the but comes in. I'm looking for this. However, I'm looking for this. So I think that's a way to correct what aggravates me, is to continue the conversation. Don't just end it at I want 100 or market's 100. So yeah, that is gonna wrap it up for today's episode number 60 of Hobby Talk. Ricky, do we have any outgoing takes for to wrap up today's episode?
Yeah, I mean, I guess circling back to Perfect Order real quick, it seems like a collect what you like kind of set. So
that's good.
Yeah, collect what you like.
Couldn't agree more.
Like it's not a flipper set. It's a collector set for the art. So if you like the art, go get it. It seems pretty affordable. So.
Mm-hmm. If there's somebody looking into starting a sealed collection or maybe flipping sealed products, Perfect Order, perfect set, pun intended. You may not get your fruitful reward in tomorrow like you want it, or next week, or even a month. It may take some time, months, maybe even a year, even, who knows. But because of how obtainable it is and how readily available it is and how cheap and affordable it is, it's a great set to just stash away. You never know. I mean, Silver Tempest is one of our favorite sets. and those booster boxes were religiously for time on time, end on end, 100, 110, 120, just rinse after repeat, day after day, until it no longer was. And now it's what, $400 or $500, give or take. I mean, and just in a couple of years, you were able to turn 100 and something into 500. So it does take time, but again, if you're looking to build a nice sealed collection, Perfect Order is a great one to start with, I believe. But my outgoing take is get to shows. Get to shows. Spring is here. The weather is getting better. Get yourself out there. Meet people. Establish rapport and relationships with people. Don't be afraid to not only sell, but buy too. Trade even, so both parties get as much value as they can. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is get to some shows. There's going to be a lot of good shows. Ricky and I have talked about the shows happening in the summertime, that cluster of July shows, but there's going to be plenty of shows before and there's going to be plenty of shows after. So get yourself out there, especially if you haven't yet and you're on the edge. Let me push you and gently shove you into a show. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. Ricky, what a wonderful episode we had today. We talked about a ton of different things. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Please make sure you smash the thumbs up button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, check out the channel membership program. If you have anything you want to talk about in regards to this episode, disagree, agree, rebuttal, feedback, whatever, thoughts and opinions, drop those down below in the comments. I'd love to read and reply. But Ricky, we'll be back here in 2 weeks. We will have March's grading report. We checked this morning. It wasn't available. So we'll talk about the grading report for March. We'll see what the grades look like come then. But yeah, that'll do it, guys. Catch you in the next one. See ya.